Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Scott and James Show. This week we're looking at the Splash Challenge. So if you tuned in last week, you'll notice that we had two potential challenges. One was Splash and the other one was Smoke. So this week we attempted to do the Splash Challenge. So let's have a look at some of the behind the scenes stuff that I did, and then I'll show you the photos. Had a few little issues with this challenge, and it didn't come off how I wanted it to. A couple of things. I got lazy and couldn't be bothered setting up the backdrop properly, so that didn't help. But also I struggled with timing to get the flash to go off at the same time as the splash was actually splashing. So in the end I turned the flash off so that I could at least do multiple shots at the same time. It didn't end up too bad, but the light wasn't great, which is why the pictures are a bit dark, because I couldn't use quite as fast a shutter speed as what I would have wanted to, and a few other things. But it was good fun, messy fun. The first splash that I did was actually the best. Ended up all over the table, all over the camera, all over the picture behind the table, went absolutely everywhere. But it was a good splash. Unfortunately it was just a practice, so I didn't actually get any photos of that one. Lesson learned. Also I think that more practice is needed, but I'd maybe like to return to it at some point because it was good fun. And this is the final image that I managed to come up with. It's very messy. I didn't clean the jar well enough between the splashes. I think I was getting a bit frustrated towards the end that I couldn't do it exactly how I wanted to, so I ended up just kind of dropping 2 or 3 grapes one after another, and hoping to get something from it, which created some good splashes. But as you can see from the jar, it's not clear, it's not as sharp as I would have liked it to have been, but lessons learned. So I think, as I mentioned last episode, we've struggled a bit to get our heads together, James and I, because I was having to quarantine after going to Spain for a couple of weeks. He's now down in Cornwall having a good time, but he's got rubbish internet signal. So I have spoken to James, and this is what he's got for you, so check this out.
Nonetheless, there's a sea over there, and I've got a dog, and whoa! So it's the Scott and James show, and I'm down in Cornwall, and it's raining, which is good because the challenge of this show is splash, but it's not that heavy, the rain. But on the plus side, I've got a dog who's just wandering off over there. Wilson, come here, boy. Oi, Wilson. And so I've got a dog, and there's the sea. So that was what I came up with this week. It was when you think of splash, I don't know. I honestly don't know what options you've got other than what not just what I've done there, but the type of things. I was thinking about maybe getting Penny to jump in a puddle, or I was going to try something with the shower, but that didn't work, and there hasn't been any rain to jump in a puddle. So
I was going to say, because that'd have been really good.
Yeah. So, but I mean, what I've come up with really with what you saw on that video was just something which I'd actually tried doing previously, because it is quite good fun, isn't it? Just to get a still shot of a splash and just see where the droplets are going, and and whatever else whatever else you can drop into water, or however you do it. So
I think like quite a few of these challenges that we've done, they're almost like a rite of passage. The things that you kind of sometimes do when you first start, not necessarily first start photography, but when you first get a DSLR and you can manually adjust all the settings. These kind of things, long exposures, some of the things that we've done the other week, like your abstract and your macro, they're all things that you kind of try to do when you first start out, and then you don't really bother doing it again.
No.
So these kind of things that we're doing now, it's good to revisit them and kind of see what you've learned and put that into practice.
Yeah.
Are you finding that as well?
Yeah, I am actually. I was thinking about that, especially with the splash thing, because when I first got my first DSLR was a what was it, Nikon D350, 450 or something. I can't remember what it was. It was a pretty decent. Oh, D320. That's what it was.
320.
Yeah. 3200. Oh my god. Yeah, it was a Nikon 3200 or something. But yeah, it was quite good, and I was forever chucking things in balls and trying to capture the light. And I was out at the side of the road on a night, just getting light trails of cars and stuff, and doing star trails and
Yeah.
that type of thing. I generally tend to do them when I go away. Yeah, last time I did one, I actually left the camera out in the garden all night, just doing its thing, and I went to sleep simply because we was on a farm, and it wasn't like I was on a built up area or anything where somebody could look in and think, what's that noise, and then see my camera going off. There's
Run
nothing
off
like
with
that. I guess the only thing was just making sure it doesn't chuck it down, but I'd checked the weather beforehand.
It's quite good, isn't it? So, yeah, unfortunately, like I was saying at the beginning, I've not had time to do it, and I didn't want to rush it because I've got some quite strong ideas. So I'm probably building this up a little bit too much now. But what we'll do is gives me a bit of time during quarantine to get the bits together that I need. Because I'm going to have a route around the garage to get the light stands out, and I'd like. I think I'm going to use a bit of a black backdrop as well, just to create a bit of separation.
Yeah.
So it's just making sure that I'm prepared and I've got everything together, so that when I do it, it doesn't take very long. But then if we do that for the following week, and then the week after that, we can crack on with some back to as usual format with a bit of luck, where we're both on at the same time.
Yeah.
And we'll do the smoke photography. It's definitely a bit different being in this little tent in my garden office instead of being in the Mediterranean Sea like I was last time I spoke to you.
Yeah, back down to earth with a back.
with a massive back. Yeah.
Right. So, are we done then for this week?
I think we are.
Okay, that's all for this week. Next week we'll be doing the smoke challenge, and hopefully it'll go better than this week's, but it's part of the fun. So until then, see you later.